Barkley was an absolute monster at Penn State last season, breaking loads of tackles. Now, perhaps we know part of his secret. This is amazing. Check him out working on his balance. So now he's doing one-legged, basically barefoot, on the Bosu. That is so difficult. It requires such core strength and stability to be able to lock in while holding the football.
All right, so Jenna, you can speak to how difficult this is because this is something that I know you do, but not with a football in your hand. Cece, you can speak to this. This is typical training? Like, it's not like he's the only guy doing this?
No, he's definitely not. This is very typical training. Actually, this is not new to both ball. I was actually doing that with a jugs machine 25 years ago. So catching one-handed passes.
Okay, so
balancing on the ball.
So for a wide receiver, you're balancing on that while the jugs machine is shooting at you?
Yes, typically you're doing it without shoes on, so you recruit the small muscles in your feet to make sure you stabilize also your core. So it's a great exercise to use. A lot of trainers utilize it, and you don't have to be a great athlete to utilize it.
For him. For him, that helps you bounce off tackles and stay on your feet, theoretically?
Tremendous balancing exercise because to be able to recruit all the muscles, it stops you from having a dominant leg more than anything else. So whatever his dominant leg is, he's doing the same amount of work on the leg that is not dominant, so you recruit those muscles to try to make them as even as possible.
Because if people couldn't read the caption you put on there, he said this is the balance/hurdle secret. So when you see Saquon, at least he's saying when he hurdles defenders and is able to keep his feet.
Look how high, you saw how high he was jumping while he was landing. That's impressive.
Now, that right there is the most elite part about it.
Landing it even?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, I'll try that after the show.
Hold on a second, I need to take that in. And now let's move on.
Definitely won't.
Time for some stories to start your morning. Baker Mayfield starting to set up his visits with a few teams. He'll visit the Browns and the Jets and the Giants in the coming weeks. All right, so Cece, first of all, tell me a little bit about these visits. Like, what's involved in them, and what does he need to do in order for that to spell success in the NFL?
Well, this is one of the final stages with their individual pro day at their college. Now, the individual pro day, it's staged. Guys typically do very, very well in their pro days, especially quarterbacks. They're running routes. They know most of the receivers. They know all the patterns beforehand. But the interview process becomes the last thing before you go into your draft room and you put that final grade on a player. Do we like this guy? Do we want him in our organization? Do we want him around our players? Are we willing to invest this type of money in this type of personality? So the interview process, they can only bring in, I think, 25 to 30 guys on this last little trip. So they can only bring in a few. So it becomes very, very important to get this guy off his campus, to get him in an environment where he would be living and functioning. So, yes, very important in the process.
Quickly here, because you're higher on Baker Mayfield than I think anyone that I know on television. Do you think he'd be okay starting rookie year? Or is he a guy, even though you're high on him, you think it would serve him well to sit for a season?
It depends on the team. He needs a great team around him. Can he go to Denver and probably play immediately? I believe yes. They need to shore up their offensive line and come up with a running game. All the quarterbacks in this year's draft, all 5 of them, need time to develop.
All right, in the NBA, T-Wolves signed Derrick Rose for the remainder of the NBA season. This reunites Rose with his old teammate, Jimmy Butler, and his old coach, Tom Thibodeau. So how much does Rose have left in the proverbial tank? Nick, what say you? Can Rose still contribute to Minnesota?
No. Listen, I root for Derrick Rose. I tweeted out last week a video of him working by himself at a small college in Cleveland, just working on stuff around the rim. The guy's got another $80 million coming from Adidas. He's banked over $100 million, and he loves basketball so much, he just wants another shot at it. Unfortunately for him, I think his career is over. He just doesn't know it yet. He is not an effective NBA player anymore. His body betrayed him, and he never adjusted his jump shot to deal with his body betraying him. So I understand Tom Thibodeau, his former coach, the coach that maybe helped contribute to some of those injuries with the way he used him, trying to give him one more shot. But no, I don't think he is a difference maker at all for them.
Not unless they're going to play defense like they did in the shoot-around. Now, if they do that, then I believe he's going to be all right. I believe the wear and tear. Cleveland was desperate for a backup point guard, and he wasn't able to play there. Now, what magically happened over the last month or so? Well, let's not forget, too, early in the season, he questioned did he want to play. So for me, I don't care about Tibbs. I don't care about Jimmy Butler. It's hard to get that hunger back when you can't play the style of ball that he played above the rim, and he didn't adjust his jumper. So now he's playing the game. He's not a dominant player. He is barely an NBA player at this point.
Yep. Youngest MVP ever. So
all right. The Warriors are a half game back of the Rockets in the West, but Draymond Green doesn't seem too concerned. Green said about the Warriors, quote, "We're not going to spend the rest of our year trying to fight for the #1 seed." Nick, you buying these comments from Draymond?
I mean, to a degree, I buy them. I think they are undervaluing the 1 seed in the West this year with the Rockets playing the way they are this year. But Draymond's had a bunch of comments that are little, slight, subtle jabs at the Rockets. He was asked about the MVP, and he's like, I think it's Anthony Davis. He was asked about Houston. He said, oh, yeah, we know they're focused on that. We'll see how it works out for them. Like, they seem none too concerned with what Houston is doing. I think they should be more concerned, and I'll say it again, home court advantage does not just mean Game 7 in your building. It means Games 1 and 2 in your building, which can be just as important.
I believe it's important to them. I believe they haven't set themselves up that if they don't get it, that there would be some type of letdown. When you have the type of talent that they have, they wouldn't need the home court advantage. But when you have Game 7, Nick points out Game 1 and 2. But if you know Game 7, so if you know if it gets there, you know it's in your building, huge advantage. And I know that Golden State, this will be their toughest playoff run together. I know they know how important it is.
All right, finally, good performance from Tiger Woods yesterday. He finished 1 under par.